Out front tonight, South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, senior member of the Senate Armed Services Committee. Senator Graham, I really appreciate your taking the time to come on the show tonight. Arwa Damon, you just heard her reporting, and I don't know if you could see the picture of the dead child with his brother at the top, which was very moving and disturbing. Arwa Damon is saying that there's a sense that government forces are beginning to fray. Obviously, though, many people in the country still support the government. They feel there could be a civil war. Is this something that is front and center right now for you as a member of the Armed Forces Committee and of the Senate?
I don't think it's as nearly as front and center as it should be, so reporting like this really helps. But I can show you places in the world where children are poorly treated and killed, the Sudan, the Congo, and we have to look at this as a humanitarian issue, just as we did in Libya, stopping the slaughter. But our strategic interests in Syria are much greater than they were in Libya. This regime is the biggest ally of Iran, which threatens the world even more so than the Assad regime. So it's in our national security interest, Erin, without a doubt, to replace Assad and to break up this Syrian-Iranian alliance. And we should be spending more time talking about this. We should press the Russians and the Chinese, bring a resolution a week, expose them for siding on the wrong side of history, and do parallel agreements with the Arab League to try to help these people in a humanitarian way and maybe providing arms. We need a dual track.
Let me ask you about each of those things. First, providing arms. Should we do that? And do you feel that we really know who this opposition is?
Quite frankly, that's a very good point. Well, we got to convince the Alawites, the people around the president, to basically say that you have a place in Syria. The coalition that's fighting Assad has to be inclusive, and I don't really know who would be giving weapons to yet, but the Arab League seems to be providing some assistance. Turkey's a key player here. So I'd like to have a parallel track. I'd like to get to know more about the opposition, press them to be inclusive, to bring the Alawite community in, saying, listen, our problem's with Assad, not with a particular group. And arming people is something to consider, but right now I'd like to know more. But surely we can help them economically, we can help them with doctor care, and we can really push the world community, Russia and China particularly, to get behind getting Assad out. And he's very close to falling. We just need to push.
And it's interesting that you say not yet with the weapons. I think it's a very important point to emphasize. But what about Russia? I mean, they do provide the weapons here to the Syrian government, the MiGs, they use the Navy facilities. You got an election coming up, in quotes, in Russia in 10 days. But Russia is not bending to U.S. pressure. I mean, they're sort of giving us the you-know-what.
Yeah. John McCain made a good point. The Russians are providing weapons to the Assad regime. Why shouldn't we be arming the opposition? I guess what I want to know is I believe the idea of arming these groups is something we should consider, but I would like to push them to have a game plan if we do arm you. What would happen when Assad falls? Are you going to be inclusive? Is this going to be a purge of the Alawite community when that probably doesn't help us? So Russia, I think, is on the wrong side of history. And what's odd is that Russia is taking a position that I think is more about their own fate in Russia. Because if we, the Russian government, Putin, is not really in great standing with his own people. And I think he is exposing himself for the sort of the thuggish guy he is. And I can understand why he wouldn't want people to have a chance to determine their own destiny. And we need to push him, quite frankly.
All right, Senator Graham, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, sir. Thank you.